Seemed to be the situation as it was clear they were not going to make the playoffs, that they'd be looking for a new coach for a very funky 2018 year. Jim Caldwell, we thought he got a multi-year extension this past offseason. Turns out the Lions left their options open. It was just a one-year deal with an option. And once that became apparent, once that was reported, then you knew that Jim Caldwell was not on a sound footing as many expected. Officially relieved of his duties this morning, and now all eyes point to Patriots defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. He's someone who is expected to get an interview with the Lions, is close with Bob Quinn, their GM, who of course has very strong New England ties and would allow them to keep the offensive staff in place, something I know that they would be amenable to. Jim Bob Cooter and Matthew Stafford have a very strong relationship.
Ian, now what's the latest on the Houston Texans head coach situation?
Well, we learned a lot of things yesterday about the Texans. First of all, we know that Bill O'Brien has a meeting with owner Bob McNair. That is expected to be today. They're going to sit down and hash through a bunch of important football-related things, the direction of the franchise, what they're going to do in the personnel department, which GM they're going to hire, because Rick Smith, the longtime GM, took a leave of absence to be with his wife, who has been sick for some time. He's been commuting back and forth to Arizona as she has her treatment. So Smith steps away indefinitely. Bill O'Brien is going to stay if he can have a strong hand in who the next GM is going to be. Owner Bob McNair expects that to happen. This is all going in the right direction for the Houston Texans, something which I know makes quarterback Deshaun Watson very happy.
All right, and from the Texans now to the Broncos, what's up with their head coaching situation?
Well, Vance Joseph is going to meet with John Elway this morning and map out the direction for 2018. There's going to be some staff changes. Several position coaches, special teams coaches, Brock Olivo could certainly be on the chopping block there. I know that's one of the things they are planning. As far as Vance Joseph's future in general, there's been no firm word. There's been no official declaration. But this is another one that is headed in the right direction. They wanted to see how the Broncos would close after some double-digit losses that I know frustrated the Broncos brass. Had 2 straight wins and then finished with 2 losses. But the fight they showed yesterday, the amount of players that are voicing their opinion that Vance Joseph should stay, that is going to look very positively for his future.
Thanks so much, Ian Rappaport. Appreciate you joining us here on Good Morning Football, and we'll check in with you later on in the show, all throughout the day here as we have the aftermath taken over at 10 a.m. Eastern with all the coaching changes that could potentially happen here on New Year's Day. And of course, no part of the business, but that's why we have you guys, Mike Garafolo and Peter Schrager here.
I sent him a text and then I watched him actually look at his screen to see that.
Oh, that's kind of
I wasn't doing it to distract him.
So cute.
You're up. From what I'm told, several candidates in mind here. Now this one last week started out one way, which was he's out.
Bill's gone.
He's gone. Mm-hmm. They're going to move on from him. And by the end of the week, the tenor on this one had completely changed. And you got the sense that, okay, Bill O'Brien is going to stay. Now, a big part of that is, and it's not done yet, but a big part of that is Deshaun Watson. I mean, the relationship between O'Brien and Rick Smith was reported on. You saw everything about that. But the fact that they have gotten off to a great start for Watson, the fact that Watson is there for him to work with going forward was a huge part in him wanting to stay.
Right. And I also will add this. You hear that there was a rift between Rick Smith, the general manager, and Bill O'Brien. And like Mike said earlier in the week, it was Bill O'Brien could be in the hot seat. There were multiple teams that I heard from there, like, if Bill O'Brien's available as a head coach, what he had to do this year without Deshaun Watson, without J.J. Watt.
Couple years, bro.
And is a leader of men also. So Rick Smith, but you heard that Rick Smith and the owner were very tight, and that Bill O'Brien was kind of on this island with his coaching staff. But now you've got Bill O'Brien, Mike Vrabel, still a defensive coordinator who's going to get some interviews as a head coaching candidate. Yeah. And all of a sudden you have a J.J. Watt coming back, a Deshaun Watson coming back. So the GM job becomes very coveted. Because wait a second, I get all these guys and a coach that is a very coveted coach and a team that wants to win, an ownership group that wants to win. If that GM job is available, and as Mike is saying, it sounds like it's going to be not just a leave of absence. This is a real GM job.
It's not a break. It's a breakup. It's like
if it was a leave of absence, Jimmy Ray, who's the guy there below Rick Smith, would have been gotten bumped up. Jimmy Ray is not going to be the long-term general manager of this team. If he is, I would expect O'Brien to go elsewhere because he's got other candidates in mind, from what I was told.
My buddy Kyle here, he enjoys some parody, some chaos.
The best.
I don't know what's going on those cell phones over there. Do you guys think we're going to get some of that today?
there might be.
We're going to get some shakeups in this league or no?
Oh, yeah, there's more to come.
In the coming hours.
Well, look, I mean, the Denver situation that Ian talked about still has to play out there. That one has gone back and forth. I mean, I talked about O'Brien and the arc of that over the last week. This Denver one over the last couple of days has gone back and forth. And Vance Joseph was under the impression that he was good last week, and then all of a sudden it changed into yesterday. Because the previous days, from what all of a sudden there were closed-door meetings happening in Denver, and then all of a sudden
Can I tell you, the players wanting it, that means nothing.
Yeah.
It means something.
What do you mean by the players wanting it?
The players got support of players in the locker room.
It
It means nothing when you have a season like that. It's whether Elway wants to do it or not. And Elway is the only